can see it in your eyes. You've seen the moon and it's stuck your soul. I can feel the gravity. The forces pull between you and me. Yes, it's true, I'm falling hard for you, but I won't rush this line.
The matchday experiences and the road trips are back as Oxford United travel to Portman Road to face Ipswich Town. A good 2.5 trip via the M25 and the M12, and you've arrived at another one of the most iconic football stadiums in England. They were on the top flight in 1962, they were crowned FA Cup winners in 1978, and won the UEFA Cup with Sir Bobby Robson in 1981. Also, when at the ground yesterday, I stumbled across the Portman pie. I'm thinking clever wording, but what's inside? And then I see the Ipswich badge on the pie. I've got to be honest, that will really take some beating. Another interesting fact about the tractor boys is they literally can't stand Norwich. Funny enough, that was the only fact I didn't need to Google, because that's all I heard from about 3 until 5 yesterday afternoon. Anyway, the players are out for the warm-up and the stadium is really filling up and building a real atmosphere.
Right by your side, I will be standing here till the end of time. I will be standing here all through the night. Till the stars align.
And there is 0-0 at the break. The first chance of the second half comes for Ipswich Town. Evans fires the ball into Edwards. He finds Clement as the ball whistles past the far post. It's a good chance and quite a big miss from Ipswich Town.
I can wait even if it's hard to take. One moment is enough. I will be standing here right by your side. I will be standing here till the end of time. I will be standing here all.
Good work from Oxford United on the flank. The ball comes into the penalty area looking for Matty Taylor, but it's well cleared away from the Ipswich defender for a corner ball. And there goes the final whistle at Portman Road between Oxford United and Ipswich Town. The game finishes 0-0. Hello everybody, welcome back to the Young Fan Podcast and welcome to another match reaction for Oxford United as they travel to Ipswich Town. Yesterday, you've just seen the match day experience there. Hopefully you did enjoy it. A great atmosphere, a great day, and actually a really good game of football as well. Full credit, of course, goes to the Ipswich Town fans, of course, also the away travelling Oxford United supporters. Really good game of football, a really good afternoon, really, and I just really did thoroughly enjoy it. It's good to be back on the road, good to be back with the away games, and yeah, really quite a fascinating game of football, which is what we're going to break down and get really into today. You can see the tactics board on the screen right now. It's a little bit of a new feature of the match reaction. I thought we'd give it a go and see what we can find, because then I sort of visually show you what I'm talking about, really. It sort of makes it hopefully easier for you, the viewers of the podcast. Remember, if you're new around here, please make sure you leave a like and subscribe. Content like this and more across League One, Oxford United, across the football world is coming to the podcast, and it's always coming to the podcast as well. So if you don't want to miss out on that, please make sure you leave a like and subscribe. Subscribing is the best way of keeping up to date with all of the podcasts. You get notified when I go live or do a recorded one just like this one, especially if you hit that notification bell as well. You'll get a notification straight to your phone, tablet, computer, whatever it is. You'll get a notification, so you'll never miss an episode of the podcast. Let's not dwell on the admin. Let's get straight into it. Let's not mess about. As you can see, once again, here's the screen, and here is the tactics board. Now, I want to sort of, first of all, actually give my sort of perspective on the game, as well as want to hear your perspectives in the comments down below. It's free to give your perspectives down there, so write a comment. I'll be replying to all of those as per usual. I want to hear Ipswich fans' thoughts on the game, and also Oxford United fans sort of get a real debate, get a real sort of both sides to story argument, but not really a vicious argument, hopefully. Sort of give a really sort of different angle on the side of the game. But I'll give my perspective as well, and feel free to disagree or agree with me. Hopefully some of you will agree with me. Of course, it's very, very opinion-based, of course, as everything really is in football. I've sort of seen a few Ipswich fans' reactions to it, and I've also seen quite a few Oxford United fans' reactions to it as well. And hearing both of them, especially before I record mine, is actually really quite interesting. But what generally I would say is, I personally don't think it was a bad Oxford United performance. I don't think it was the best Oxford United performance I've seen this season by any means. I think it was sort of in the middle. I think it was a good performance on the road. If that was a home game, I think the reaction would have been very different from an Oxford fan point of view. I think it would have been seen quite negative. But I think what people are forgetting as well, we've got the fans are back in the ground, and travelling to Portman Road last season is very different to travelling to Portman Road this season. Travelling to any away ground this season is very different to a COVID year where there was no fans. It was almost like playing in neutral grounds last year. Today and this season, we're back with the full stand capacity. Everyone's back in the ground, supporting your team, and that does change things a lot. And you do have to set up and play differently where you play. It's not FIFA, it's not Football Manager where you just play the same way wherever you go. It's not like that. This is a footballing. This is actually sort of looking at football back how it used to be looked at. There is a home advantage, there is an away advantage, and you do have to play games differently based on where you're playing and who you're playing against. It sounds stupid, but when you're playing against a really quite in-form Ipswich side as well, away from home, you are going to have to set up differently. You're not going to go all guns blazing. You're not going to play your free attacking football. Now, of course, you're not going to ever... I don't think Carl Robinson would ever set a team up for a draw, set up a team to lose, and sort of be, I guess, reactive instead of proactive, because I think that's also really important to take into consideration as well. But you've got to take into consideration who you're playing and where you're playing the game. And if this was played at the Casal, I think, like I said, the perspective would have looked very, very different from an Oxford point of view. People would probably see it as quite a negative game of football from an Oxford point of view. And there's no doubt as well, and I'm not going to be naive and sit here and say that it was a really attractive attacking game of football for Oxford United. It doesn't take away from the fact that it was actually a really good game of football and quite a fascinating game to watch. But no, it wasn't an attacking, free-flowing Oxford United all guns blazing performance. But you're not going to put that in when you're playing against like I said, an in-form Ipswich side. They're getting some form, really sort of gaining some momentum now and form. And also you've got players that are ticking and sort of really sort of clicking together and forming a really good side. You are going to play a little bit differently, and that's just the way that it is. And we're not, as fans as well, and I'm not completely blind to the fact or deaf to the fact that, we heard people say that, it was boring and Oxford United played a boring game of football. What I'm going to say, I wouldn't class it as boring. I wouldn't say it's boring, and that's going to come from probably quite a biased point of view because I'm an Oxford United fan. But I'm not going to be stupid in saying that it was an amazing attacking game of football from an Oxford perspective either. But I wouldn't go as far as boring. I think we were really well organised. I thought we set up to fit this game perfectly. And a point against Ipswich Town away from home, like I said, are in good form. I can tell you something right now, Ipswich will be up there this season. They had a poor start to the season, they did, but they're going to be up there. I can see them being in the top six. I don't know who for, because a lot of teams are performing well this season. A lot of teams I can see finishing in the top six, and not all of them can do. But I can see Ipswich finishing in the playoff spots, maybe even high at the end of the season. Although they had a bad start to the season, they brought a lot of players in, they had to gel, they had to click, and when that does happen, it does take a while for them to sort of settle in and gain a real bit of momentum and form, find the best team, and then go from there. But they seem like they've done that now. They will be up there this season, there's no doubt about it. They look like a good side. They looked really, really good yesterday when I watched them. And when they played against Oxford yesterday, I was really quite impressed with them. So I don't think, and then when we look back at the end of the season, a point away from home is not a bad result at all. Now Ipswich may fail that they could have won the game, and I think I am in full support of that argument as well. The referee was poor for both sides, but especially for Ipswich Town. I thought the referee was a very poor referee, and it was quite a poor refereeing game from his standards as well. Or any standard, really, any refereeing standard. It was a very, very poor game of football for him to referee, and the way that he dealt with the game, I think, was really quite poor. And I can fully understand where the Ipswich fans are coming from in saying that the referee, they did describe it as a robbery. Again, from where we were sat as well, I haven't actually looked at some of the decisions that were made further forward towards behind the goal. I couldn't really see from the angle where I was sat, but yeah, there was definitely some cause for penalties. Definitely some just poor decisions made across the pitch, not just in the penalty box and the referee. And I can understand that frustration. We've had it this season. Everyone has it this season. The actual refereeing standard, I thought, was slightly improving, but yesterday was really, really bad. I'm not going to be this biased Oxford United fan that says the referee got it spot on today and all that sort of thing. The referee was poor for both sides, but especially for Ipswich. I can understand that frustration. I think that they're fair enough to sort of be upset and be disappointed with that referee and the way that he was making decisions towards their side. I understand that completely. And he almost, and one that comes to mind, that we went, an Oxford United player went down. We decided to continue playing, and then we lost possession. Ipswich had the ball, and then the referee stopped the game. I can understand that from looking at it from the opposition perspective. That's frustrating. I'd be very, very annoyed if that happened to Oxford United and the roles were reversed. So I can completely understand why that was something that the Ipswich fans are not happy about. But going back to I've seen the Ipswich side and the perspective of the game as well. I saw some fan say that how Oxford United where they are, they're playing negative, boring. I couldn't watch that every week. You clearly haven't watched Oxford United play in the last 3 years, then, because if I'm being honest, Oxford United play. I'm going to go and say Oxford United play there, and it's definitely the top 5, maybe even top 3 if I'm being really quite optimistic. Actual quality, brand, exciting game, a bit sort of brand of football. Worded that quite badly, but sort of a really good brand of football. I'd say we're in that sort of top 5 best brands of football in this league, if I'm being honest. I know it comes a little bit biased because I'm an Oxford United fan. Of course it does, but I think we do. If you look at what we do under Carl Robinson, we play an attacking game of football. We play a high press. We play, if we lose possession, we win the ball back straight away. We try and win the ball back straight away. We play quick passing. Normally not very direct passing, either short, sharp, pass and go passing, and direct, non-direct, I guess, style of play as well. We've got very, very high fullbacks. We like to play with fairly high line as well. We've got, really, really good, tricky dribbling players as well off both flanks. That's how we play our game of football. And yesterday, maybe we didn't show the full aspect of that, and we didn't show that we could do all of those things yesterday. But you've got to, like I said, it comes down to the same thing. You've got to play differently based on who you're playing and where you're playing. An informed side away from home, you're not going to go there and play a high press for 90 minutes because ultimately they can pin you off straight away. They've got the quality to pin you off straight away. And if anything, it's actually a credit to Ipswich the way that we played yesterday. It's a credit. We're not trying to, the reason why I think we did it is because we were very, very aware of the threat that Ipswich offered. So I'd say it's a little bit more of a compliment towards Ipswich fans, towards an Ipswich point of view, if anything, yesterday. So yeah, I understand the frustration. I get it. I'm not blind to it, but at the same time, you have to play differently. Like I said, I keep repeating myself, but where you're playing and who you're playing as well, and the form of the opposition in as well has to be taken into consideration, of course. So I want to take over to this tactics board here because I think we can sort of, I guess, show visually what I'm trying to explain. Sometimes I sort of explain things in game tactical, and it can be quite difficult to visualise and really see what I'm trying to say. So here is the tactics board, a little bit all over the shop at the moment. You can see all the players have been named and they're given their squad numbers as well, so we can try and get it as close as we can. This is sort of quite a difficult way of looking at it because this was sort of a second half view of the game. Again, it's not completely accurate. The average positions I haven't looked at and sort of moulded it off that. This is sort of if the ball wasn't in play, and this is sort of not really if any team was attacking or defending, really. Quite a neutral way of looking at it, sort of how both teams set up across the pitch. But I want to sort of one thing as well I would say is that when we're speaking about how maybe Ipswich are looking at it as Oxford setting up a little bit negatively or playing negatively in the second half, I think this is probably where they're coming at, and that's because Oxford United do normally play with quite attacking fullbacks. As I mentioned there, I sort of explained the brand of football just there as well. how Oxford United like to play, and when people are saying that we don't play like that and we're, we don't play good football, it's like, well, you clearly haven't watched Oxford United, this season before or the last 2 seasons under Carl Robinson, because that's exactly how we play. Seddon and Long like to play quite high up, though yesterday, and this is anything a compliment, like I said, towards Ipswich, we couldn't do that because we were very well aware that Edwards and Burns were lethal going forward as well. So Seddon had to come, and Long had to come much deeper, and had to be more aware of Edwards and Burns coming and attacking them. Thorniley and Moore had to be well aware of Bonne as well, when how lethal he's been this season. So Moore and Thorniley had to be really, really good at tightly marking Bonne through the game. Didn't let him really have a sniff in the game. Didn't really have too much of an opportunity in the game. That was down to the really good play of Thorniley and Moore, really sort of, I guess, crowding him out, if you like. However, that did come down to then Selina having quite a lot of the ball. He was playing sort of just behind Bonne there as well. I'm moving Kane just so I can sort of show you the space that Selina had. A lot of chances came from Selina running into this area as well. So I can sort of bring up this sort of, I guess, diagram. This is sort of where the space was, and Selina was running into that space quite a lot in the game. He was really sort of creating those chances in there. He picked up the ball. It did feel like quite often that Ipswich did have a lot of space and a lot of area to sort of play their football, and Selina was running in there, and that's again why Long couldn't play too high up or couldn't play too offensively, because as soon as Selina got the ball here, can we even get the ball on the pitch? Can we show we've got a ball? Here it is. Selina would have the ball. He'd spread that straight out there as well. Edwards could then run on, and that happened quite a few times. That's why Long couldn't play. Let's try and go back to that. We don't want to keep making circles. That can be slightly confusing. That's why Long had to come a little bit deeper, because we know that there's going to be a lot of space in there, and then the ball was being played across the pitch in there as well. And because Moore was playing quite tightly to Bonne, there was sort of a gap there quite often, so we had to almost play quite narrow as well, which again didn't really suit us too much, because then of course when you play that narrowly, being quite careful of that, Holland as well had to then use the width almost on his own, to be honest, because Seddon was sort of tucking in quite well. That was only an aspect of the game, but that was more defensive in how we sort of set up in a more defensive area. We've just seen we just heard what's happened to Alex Gorin as well. It's a massive shame that he's been out, and he's going to be out for quite a long time. I think if Gorin was playing, he'd almost play him there as well. So Selina probably wouldn't have as much room, because you'd have Alex Gorin almost sitting in front of that back four. I think if Alex Gorin was fit, we may have gone with Alex Gorin in the game, because we knew that Selina could run into that space, and Alex Gorin sort of could shift and sweep across that back line and not give him as much room to run into. But Harry Kane likes to play a bit more offensive, whereas Gorin is much more defensive. They both play in that sort of deeper midfield role, but they do almost play. Kane's more of a playmaker. He also likes to sort of get hold of the ball as well, drive into space, and also ping the ball elsewhere, sort of in those different areas. And you could see by him doing that, so he did have quite a lot of the ball. Also, their fullbacks were very, very high up as well. You saw Clements was playing quite well. I thought he had a really good game on that left-hand side, really coming forward and making sure as well that Long couldn't be too further forward, because if Long sits there, Edwards has got all the room there, because Moore's being quite close to Bonne, and if Clements is coming forward as well, just like that, you're in deep, deep trouble. So that's not going to happen in the game. Long had to play deeper, because they like to play with those attacking fullbacks. Almost how Oxford United play as well, which is why I think both sides were sort of quite evenly matched, because they both sort of had both similar ways of looking at a game of football. You can see this number 44 as well, running down this side, which means Holland had to track back, Sykes had to track back, Seddon couldn't go too far forward. Just like that, you can see there how close we are. If Sykes is tracking back, Holland is tracking back as well. Herbie Kane's going to be coming back. Brannigan's always playing sort of like a box-to-box player in there as well. Henry's looking back. Then you can see how it looks in a more defensive way, and then that's where Ipswich is coming from, because they're when they're going forward, and because as well when they talk about Oxford playing negatively, we're not going to just sort of we're not going to see you attack. We're not going to see Ipswich attack in the second half where they did most of the game, and then just sort of go forward and let you score a goal. It doesn't work like that. If you're going to play attacking against us, we're going to have to set up a little bit differently. I don't know what they sort of expect, some fans. From an Ipswich perspective, you're going to go, and I understand it as well. I don't mean this in a horrible way. I'm just saying, the reason why it probably came across a little bit negative is because if you're going to attack us, we've got to play a little bit more defensive as well. If you're going to play with your attacking fullbacks, we've got to adapt the game and play in that way as well. It's the same from an Ipswich perspective. In that first half, when we were going forward, your fullbacks were a little bit, were a little bit deeper. In the second half, the reason why Clements and number 44, who's got a cracking name that I can't pronounce, was coming forward more often is because you had more of the ball and because you were dominating the game of football. That's just how it works. But obviously, the second half is what a lot of people are speaking about, and I can understand that frustration 100%. But yeah, that's sort of what I'm trying to get out there and sort of explaining maybe how it looked. Generally, though, I'd say a well-organised performance from Oxford. Like I said, maybe not a free-attacking, free-flowing game of football, I get it. But at the same time, Oxford United had to do what they had to do. And a point away from home, it's not a bad result at all. Yeah, that's really what I can see from the game. Of course, let me know in the comments down below what you thought of the game. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Like I said, Ipswich fans, let me know what you thought of the game in the comments down below. And yeah, other than that, take care, stay safe, and I'll see you all very, very soon.